Hello everyone, and welcome to our Storytime Corner. Today, we're diving into a classic tale that many of you might know and love. Let's get cozy and begin. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village, lived a sweet and polite little girl whom everyone adored. Her grandmother, who loved her more than anything, once sewed her a beautiful little hood made of red velvet. The girl loved it so much she wore it everywhere she went, and so everyone started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One bright morning, her mother called her over, Little Red Riding Hood. She said, "Your grandmother is feeling unwell. I've packed a basket with some fresh bread and milk for her. Please take it to her. But remember this very important rule. Walk straight through the forest on the path. Don't wander off, and whatever you do, don't talk to strangers, Little Red Riding Hood." Being a good daughter, promised she would listen and set off on her journey. The forest was beautiful that day. The sky was a brilliant blue, birds were chirping sweet melodies, and colourful wildflowers danced in the warm sunlight. As she walked along the path, she suddenly met a big wolf. Now, Little Red Riding Hood had never been told that wolves could be dangerous, so she wasn't scared at all. "Hello there, little girl," the wolf said with a sly smile. "Where are you off to on this fine day?" "I'm going to my grandmother's house," she replied cheerfully. "She lives at the very end of the forest, in a small cottage with a white fence." A wicked glint appeared in the wolf's eye. He thought to himself, "This is perfect. If I run really fast, I can get to the grandmother's house first, eat her, then pretend to be her and wait to eat the little girl too." Trying to sound friendly, the wolf said, "Oh, but look at all these beautiful flowers. They're so lovely. Why don't you pick a nice bouquet for your grandmother? I'm sure she would love that." Little Red Riding Hood thought that was a wonderful idea. Forgetting her mother's warning, she skipped off the path and happily began picking flowers, getting deeper and deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, the clever wolf knew a shortcut. He raced through the trees and arrived at the grandmother's house in no time. He knocked gently on the door, knock 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 asterisk. From inside, a weak voice called out, "Who is it?" The wolf disguised his voice to sound like the little girl's. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some bread and milk." "Oh, come in, my dear," said the grandmother. "The door is unlocked." The wolf burst into the room and, in one big gulp, swallowed the poor grandmother whole. Then he quickly put on her nightgown, pulled her nightcap over his hairy ears, and climbed into the bed, pulling the covers up to his chin, waiting patiently for his next meal. A little while later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage. Her arms full of beautiful flowers, she noticed the door was open and felt a little uneasy as she stepped inside. Everything seemed strangely quiet. She went to the bedroom and saw her grandmother lying in bed. But something looked different. "Grandmother," she said, inching closer, "why are your ears so big?" "All the better to hear you with, my dear," the wolf replied in a high, scratchy voice. "Grandmother, why are your eyes so big?" "All the better to see you with, my dear." "Grandmother, why are your hands so big?" "All the better to hug you with, my dear." "But grandmother," she whispered, "why is your mouth so very big?" "All the better to eat you with." The wolf roared, leaping out of the bed to swallow her up too. Little Red Riding Hood let out a terrified scream. Luckily, a kind woodcutter was working nearby. He heard the scream and thought something must be wrong at the old woman's cottage. He rushed inside and saw the big, bad wolf lying on the bed with a suspiciously large and lumpy belly. Thinking fast, the woodcutter took out his sharp axe and carefully cut open the wolf's stomach. And who should pop out but the grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood, scared but completely unharmed. Together, they filled the wolf's belly with heavy stones and sewed it back up. When the wolf finally woke up, he felt very thirsty and tried to run to the well. But the stones were so heavy that they dragged him down, and that was the end of the big, bad wolf. From that day forward, Little Red Riding Hood never, ever strayed from the path in the forest, and she always remembered her mother's wise words, never talk to strangers. And that's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. It is a great reminder to always be careful and listen to the advice of those who care about us. Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed our story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adventures. See you next time.